What happens if I'm fired right after filing a complaint? Imagine this. You've had enough of unsafe conditions, unpaid overtime, or harassment at work. You decide to file a complaint, finally standing up for your rights. Maybe you contact OSHA about dangerous equipment. Maybe you go to the Department of Labor over missing wages. Maybe you file a discrimination charge with the EEOC. You expect protection. But then, almost immediately, you're fired. No warning, no real explanation, just termination. Now you're wondering, what happens if I'm fired right after filing a complaint? This is one of the most common fears workers have, and for good reason. Retaliation happens in workplaces across the U.S., from small businesses to large corporations. But the law is clear. Retaliation is illegal. Workers who file complaints are engaging in protected activity, and federal and state laws forbid employers from punishing them for it. In this video, we'll break down exactly what protections exist, how they work, and what steps you can take if you're fired after speaking up. What retaliation means. Retaliation happens when an employer takes negative action against a worker for exercising legal rights. Negative action can be obvious, like firing, demoting, or cutting pay, but it can also be subtle, such as reassigning someone to less favorable shifts, reducing hours, or creating a hostile environment to force resignation. The law calls filing a complaint a protected activity. That means you cannot legally be punished for it. Whether the complaint is about safety, wages, discrimination, or union activity, once you've made it, you are shielded from retaliation. Example: a cashier reports sexual harassment to Human Resources. Days later, her schedule is cut so drastically that she cannot earn a living. That's retaliation, even if she wasn't formally fired. OSHA and workplace safety complaints. The Occupational Safety and Health Act, OSHA, protects workers who raise safety concerns. Section 11C specifically prohibits firing, demoting, or discriminating against employees for reporting unsafe conditions or participating in inspections. Key facts. Complaints can be made confidentially. If fired after reporting, workers have 30 days to file a whistleblower complaint with OSHA. Remedies can include reinstatement, back pay, and clearing of personnel records. Example: a warehouse worker refuses to operate a forklift with faulty brakes. He reports the hazard. A week later, he's fired. OSHA investigates, determines retaliation, and orders reinstatement. Wage complaints and the FLSA, the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, sets minimum wage, overtime, and child labor rules. Section 15A3 makes retaliation illegal. Workers are protected if they file a wage complaint, cooperate in an investigation, testify in wage-related proceedings. If you're fired right after filing a wage claim, the Department of Labor can investigate. Remedies often include reinstatement, lost wages, and liquidated damages equal to unpaid wages. Example: a server complains about being forced to work off the clock. Management fires her a week later. The DOL orders the restaurant to pay her back wages and rehire her. Civil rights laws, Title VII, ADA, ADEA. Federal civil rights statutes also forbid retaliation. Title VII protects against retaliation for reporting discrimination based on race, sex, religion, or national origin. The ADA protects those who request disability accommodations or complain about disability discrimination. The ADEA protects workers over 40 from age discrimination and retaliation for related complaints. These laws are enforced by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC. Even if your discrimination complaint is still under review, firing you for filing it is itself illegal. Example: A woman files a sexual harassment claim. Weeks later, she's terminated for attitude problems. The EEOC can investigate and order reinstatement with damages, the NLRA, and union protections. The National Labor Relations Act, NLRA, protects workers engaging in concerted activity. That includes filing complaints with the National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, forming a union, or even discussing wages with coworkers. If you're fired after filing a labor complaint, the NLRB can order reinstatement, back pay, and other remedies. Example: retail workers submit a complaint about schedules. 2 are fired. The NLRB rules the termination unlawful and forces the employer to rehire them with full back pay. How retaliation is proven. Courts and agencies look for evidence connecting your complaint to the firing. Important factors include timing. Firing shortly after a complaint often signals retaliation. Employer's stated reasons. If reasons shift or seem inconsistent, retaliation is more likely. Comparisons. If coworkers make the same mistakes but aren't fired, retaliation may be the real cause. Documentation. Copies of your complaint, performance reviews, and emails are critical. Example: an employee with strong performance reviews is fired 2 weeks after filing a discrimination claim. The sudden drop in evaluation credibility points to retaliation. Rights and remedies after retaliatory firing. If you're fired after filing a complaint, you may be entitled to reinstatement to your former position, back pay covering lost wages, front pay if reinstatement isn't feasible, damages for emotional distress or reputational harm, punitive damages in cases of willful misconduct, attorney's fees so you aren't burdened by legal costs. Agencies like OSHA, the EEOC, the DOL, and the NLRB all have authority to order these remedies. Real-world cases expanded. Case 1, safety. A truck driver refused to drive with faulty brakes. He was fired immediately. OSHA ruled it retaliation and ordered reinstatement with $150,000 in back pay. Case 2, wages. A group of restaurant workers in Florida reported unpaid overtime. Management fired 2 of them. The DOL recovered $200,000 in back wages and penalties. Case 3, discrimination. A woman at a tech company filed a gender discrimination complaint. Within a month, she was terminated. The EEOC intervened and the company settled for $500,000. Case 4, union activity. A factory in Illinois laid off employees who helped organize a union vote. The NLRB forced reinstatement and issued penalties. These examples show retaliation isn't just theory, it's a major focus of labor law enforcement. Practical steps workers should take. If you're fired after filing a complaint, 1. Request written reasons for your termination. Employers may try to avoid giving one. Document it anyway. 2. Keep copies of your complaint, emails, and communications. 3. Act quickly. Many retaliation claims have short deadlines. OSHA gives only 30 days. The EEOC usually 180 days. 4. File with the right agency. Safety issues go to OSHA. Wage claims to the DOL. Discrimination to the EEOC. Union issues to the NLRB. 5. Seek legal support. Employment lawyers often work on contingency, meaning no upfront fee. 6. Track damages. Keep proof of lost wages, medical expenses, and job searches. Example: a janitor fired after reporting unsafe chemicals files with OSHA within 20 days. He wins reinstatement and compensation for lost income. The human impact of retaliation. Being fired after filing a complaint is more than a legal issue. It's personal. Workers face sudden income loss, health insurance lapses, and emotional stress. Families struggle to pay rent, mortgages, and bills. The fear of blacklisting in an industry adds to the pressure. That's why retaliation laws don't just focus on money, they focus on restoring dignity and opportunity. Example: a single mother fired after reporting harassment loses her health insurance. With legal action, she not only recovers wages, but also secures reinstatement and a safer work environment. The bigger picture retaliation laws exist because workers must feel safe reporting violations. If employers could fire anyone who spoke up, no one would ever complain. And laws protecting wages, safety, and civil rights would be meaningless. That's why agencies like OSHA, the EEOC, and the NLRB treat retaliation as one of their top enforcement priorities. For workers, knowing these protections exist is empowering. For employers, it's a warning. Retaliation carries real legal and financial risks. So, what happens if you're fired right after filing a complaint? Legally, that's retaliation, and retaliation is illegal. Whether your complaint was about safety under OSHA, unpaid wages under the FLSA, discrimination under Title VII or the ADA, or union activity under the NLRA, the law protects you. Remedies can include reinstatement, back pay, damages, and more. The bottom line: speaking up is your right, and losing your job for it doesn't mean you're powerless. The law is designed to protect whistleblowers and workers who demand fairness. If this video helped clarify your rights, share it with coworkers. Knowledge is power, and understanding retaliation is the first step toward safer, fairer workplaces.